Hi everyone, this is Pete.
Hello.
And Pete, a lot of you will remember, I did put a little poll when I talked about this series. This is Pete's one of my viewers, and I did put a little poll out when I said about driving viewers' cars, and my viewers chose our lovely Ford Corsair. Well, it's not ours, it's yours, mate, isn't it?
Thank you.
But yeah, we're here, and Pete's going to show us around the car. We're going to go for a little drive, and honestly, let me have a go in the oldest car I've ever driven. Shall we get going, mate?
Yep, let's
Excellent.
make a move.
Let's make a move. So just tell us a little bit about the car. I've seen this car before, everyone, as well, to be honest. I went down to the NEC to come and say hello and meet you and see the car for the first time, Pete, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, but just tell everyone about the car. It's a 1967 Ford Corsair, isn't it?
Yeah, 1967 Corsair, V4 engine, so it's not an inline engine. It's 2 litres.
Yep.
4-speed transmission.
Okay.
That's about it, basically.
No problems, and it's in amazing condition. Like I said, Pete was showing the car at the NEC Classic Car Show. Actually, it was about a couple of months ago that now, wasn't it?
Yes, that was the end of March.
That's right. And we've waited till the weather's decent for me to get it in it. So it's understandable. Pete spent many an hour making this car what it is. You know, it's. Is it ever taken out in anything but nice weather, mate?
I'll take it out in normal weather, and if it rains while I'm out, it rains, but there's no point in taking it out on purpose if it's raining.
You're right.
With all the time that's gone into it, I don't want to wreck it by just taking it out.
Absolutely. So yeah, we've waited a little bit of time. We're now at the start of June. This video isn't going to be released just yet. We've got something that you've probably seen already. This is the first one of this series where I drive with one of my viewers, but you've probably seen a few of the videos, or a couple of the videos anyway, where I meet up with Ogmius and have a little drive around London in his car. But this is what this series is about. I want to go and see what my viewers drive, and if there's a nice little story behind the car, we're going to have a little look at that as well. The Corsair hasn't been like this from day one though, Pete, has it?
No, it needed quite a lot of work when I first got it.
Yeah.
First thing I did was to strip and rebuild the engine, get all that running right first, because if the heart doesn't work, there's no point in working on the rest of it.
Absolutely. Okay. Was the engine in poor condition when you first got it? Was it a runner?
It ran, but it wasn't as good as it could have been.
Okay.
And being an ex-mechanic, I could tell that all the stuff that needed and how the things should be, so it was just a case of finding the problems and sorting them out.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that as well, Pete. What is your mechanical background, obviously, with vehicles? Is it always been cars? Has it been anything different that you've worked on?
I've mainly been cars. I worked for about 15 years as a Ford vehicle technician at dealers around the Midlands.
Okay.
Specialising in engines, and that was mainly it. I mean, I've had motorbikes before, I've had other classics cars before.
Yep.
And it was just the sort of thing when I left school in the 80s, where you had the choice of doing something you enjoyed. And
you did it.
I did it, yes.
Fabulous. It's lovely when you've got a passion for things. And this car, honestly, I can see that it's been a passion for you. So we've got, honestly, some normal things in here. We've got an old, I'm just going to get my my camera just recording. I'm going to show people what I'm talking about. We've got an old Motorola radio in there, which is some of my viewers won't even know what a radio is, mate, will they?
No, I don't
that's
think
right,
they will.
okay. So there's no power steering to the car at all, is there?
No, it's no power steering.
No power steering?
It's a solid shaft down to a steering box, and then the steering box goes through drag links and then out to each wheel.
You've already lost me, mate. I can drive the things. I don't know whether I could put them together. No, okay. So yeah, there's no power assistance. Just notice when you're gear changing, there's no double declutching.
No.
So didn't you say that there's synchros on all the gears as well?
Yeah, there's synchros on all the gears. It's what's called in Ford terms a rocket box, because they were used with a lot of the competition engines and stuff like the Escort Mexicos,
yeah,
and all of that sort of part of vehicles.
Yeah, yeah.
But this box was fitted to the 2000s. It's a 2000 engine.
Was there different size engines in the Corsair then?
Yes.
As well, was there?
The first Corsairs were 1600.
Okay.
And it was what was called a pre-crossflow engine.
Okay, yeah.
And then in 1964 they added the V4 engine to the list, and then that was in 1700 and 2 litre versions.
Okay, cool. One little thing that I actually, first time I met Pete, like I said, at the NEC, it took me a moment as I was walking around and having a look at the car to realise we've got no exterior mirrors, mate, have we?
Nope.
So we've got no exterior mirrors, both this side and that side. And obviously Pete's got a big interior mirror. Does that cover most of the blind areas?
Yes, it does cover a lot of them.
Okay.
But also, you have to look. When I was taught to drive, that was one of the main things. You don't use the mirrors that much, you actually look and you
properly.
keep looking.
Yeah, okay.
And I've always done that.
Yeah.
I mean, I spent 3 years before I started driving a car on a motorbike.
Yeah.
So that taught me to read the road, to look ahead, look as far ahead as I can without getting in the way.
Yeah.
And then to actually proceed that way.
Yeah, that's right. So watching what you do, there's nothing really, we've just seen the indicator. Hopefully I've got that on film as well. Just seen the indicators on the right hand side. Looking at your driving over the first number of minutes, there's actually not that much different than modern cars. It's amazing, even though it's 1967, that we haven't actually changed that much.
No.
Okay, cool. Is there any little, because I'm going to be driving this later as well, everyone. Pete's let me have a go. I have got insured. Grand total of, it was a little bit more expensive than Ogmius's Corsair, but not by much. About £2.20, I think £2.28 it's cost me to get insured for the day, so that's pretty reasonable. Just going on that, I'm just going to quickly talk about, if it's okay, something that you mentioned to me, again, something that I didn't realise. It's got no MOT, this car, has it?
No. MOT and tax exempt.
Okay.
Because of the age.
And I didn't know that. You know, me and Pete were having a cab, obviously, at the NEC, and because this is, like I've said, it's the oldest car that I've ever driven. I haven't driven it yet, but I didn't realise that cars of this age, they didn't need an MOT. So could you just explain to people, Pete, effectively, it's your responsibility just to make sure it's roadworthy then, isn't it?
Basically, yeah.
Which blew my mind a little bit,
yeah.
to be honest. Not everyone's going to be as conscientious and mechanically minded as yourself.
Yes, you do have to have some technical knowledge to do it properly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, most of it is just common sense.
Yeah.
And if you drive your car, you can tell if something's not quite right, or
you can, yeah.
something's on the way to being not quite right.
Yeah. Not everyone though, and I'm the same. I can I can even feel when one of my tyre pressures is probably 3 or 4 psi lower.
Yeah, I can as well.
And that's just because we're probably driving nits and nerds. But I honestly think that having a car like this, I'd love an old car, Pete, but what you said there about the MOT, it probably would restrict many people from keeping it roadworthy, wouldn't it? It would. I honestly think I would have to take it to someone to make sure it's checked over, because I couldn't do the stuff that you do.
Yeah, and there is quite a lot of very talented people that can do that, but there would then be a price attached to it.
Okay.
But that could possibly still be a lot lower level than the price of an MOT, anything else. But it all adds to how you drive the car.
Yeah. If you get car sympathy, I'm forever going on about it as well.
Yeah.
Anticipation and planning. You've said about how you were taught to look properly and those type of things. Driving it in a sympathetic way makes the bills less effectively, doesn't it? 100%.
And a lot of that can go for any car, modern or old.
Yeah.
Just because you've got a modern car and it'll go really well and drive easily, doesn't mean that it's being driven in the right manner that will mean it will last.
Yeah, you're right, absolutely, 100%. So why a Ford Corsair? What brought you to the Ford Corsair? I know Pete was telling me a little story. He had a car that was your dad's, and your dad's passed, and you didn't feel quite right. Not quite right. It was always your dad's car.
Yes.
Was that the case with the Cortina?
Yeah, so I just couldn't relax in it, and drive it, and enjoy it as much, because I'm always thinking, oh, it's dad's car. Oh, it needs to be this, needs to be that. I just couldn't relax.
Yeah.
So if I wasn't relaxed, I wouldn't be able to drive it to the best that I could for the car and for myself.
Totally get it. Totally understand, and I agree as well. You know, if anything's left with sentimental value, you don't really want to use it. You don't want to ruin it, do you?
No.
So, Pete, the Cortina was sold, and then what made you go towards the Corsair? What highlighted? That's the car that I want to buy, and I want to you know, use and maintain over the next however many years.
The main reason for the Corsair was it was just so different. I mean, a lot of other drivers were there, and the cars were like Cortinas, Mark 2s, Mark 3s.
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, okay, but it's a bit run of the mill.
I must admit, I can't remember the last time I saw a Corsair on the road.
Yeah, and I looked at this when I saw it on the ad, and the first thing I thought of was Thunderbird, because it was the British version of the American Thunderbird.
Yes. Yeah.
And I just liked it, and I thought, yes, that's different, that's unusual.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought, right.
There we go. Was it in this colour originally when you bought it?
No, it was in Olympic blue.
Is that a darker blue than
no,
this?
No, it's a much brighter, lighter blue than the current colour.
Yeah.
And I'm the 12th owner.
Okay.
And other people had repainted it and so on. There's a whole story to why it's in lagoon blue.
Okay. What are the brakes like? Just looking at that red car pulling out, are the brakes? I can imagine they're not like modern brakes.
No, they're not like modern brakes.
Are they discs or are they drums?
Right, you've got discs at the front, 240mm diameter discs.
Okay.
And you've got drums in the rear.
Okay.
You can't stamp on the brakes.
Yeah.
But you have to ease them on.
Squeeze.
Yeah. But it comes back to another thing of knowing the car, keeping the braking distance,
driving orderly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Driving
it to the conditions, driving it carefully.
Absolutely. So yeah, the story about why did you pick this colour for the Corsair then?
Well, It originally came out the factory in, I think it was Halewood.
Okay, right, up near me.
Up by you.
Yeah, that's right. It's still there as well.
Yeah, it came out the factory in Halewood in a colour called Blue Mink.
Yes.
Which is a metallic, very light blue metallic. Now, Ford colours of the 1960s weren't that reliable.
Yeah.
And it was sent to a dealer's here on the Isle of Wight.
Yeah.
And within 6 months of the dealer having it, which this car was the service manager's car, his company car, the paint fell off. Literally.
Was that just how Fords of this era used to be, or was it just a problem with that colour and maybe this particular car?
Mainly Ford metallics, because the metallics were new stuff, really.
Yes. Yeah.
And they hadn't completely perfected them. I mean, there's a lot of people know a lot more than I do about Ford colours and stuff, but this is just going by what I've been told.
Yeah, I understand.
So anyway, the dealers had the car, the paint fell off, and the dealer actually repainted in Lagoon Blue.
Okay.
Which is the colour it's in now.
Yeah.
And it spent most of its life on the Isle of Wight in that colour.
Yeah.
Which means that it's spent a lot of time in that colour, so I thought, right,
that's maybe what it's destined to be.
Yeah, I want to put it back to how it was originally, or as close to originally as possible.
Okay, so this is obviously a Ford colour as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Did you have to take the car down to a shell to repaint it, or did you take the car down to a shell?
I did take I completely stripped the car right down to a rolling shell. I took all the old paint off it.
Yeah.
And then it went to a restorer to have all the body work done and so on, and then repainted into Lagoon Blue.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Notice changing or coming into that last junction, changing down gears. That brings me back to when I got taught to drive. I was just on that cusp of not needing to change down, but you know, it's something that a lot of people still do. But in a car of this age, to take the pressure off the brakes, like we've said, they're not like modern brakes. That's something that you generally do as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
You'll be changing down through the gears.
I've always driven using engine braking as well.
Yeah.
In one of my other cars, which is 2005 Focus diesel.
Yeah. Still do the same.
It took me till I was at 62,000 miles before I needed to change the front brakes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because of the way I do the braking, I use them, but I didn't use them heavily.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, and that's down to anticipation, which is something that I'm always going on about. Yeah, we're looking across the corner. We can see all the way up to the hill, up to the big tree that it's clear. So planning in that way makes things easier, doesn't it? Absolutely.
Definitely.
The ride on the Corsair is quite surprisingly good, to be honest. Some of the roads that we've been on, even over the last 10-15 minutes, they haven't been particularly good, but it does soak up the bumps quite well, doesn't it?
It does. Suspension wise, when I rebuilt the suspension, I actually fitted Volvo front struts and Volvo top mounts, which have got a proper encapsulated ball race in the top, which means the steering's nice and light.
Yeah.
And
so you've effectively you've modified, you've improved it. That's good. Yeah, and absolutely, if you've got that mechanical knowledge, absolutely. You know, you totally lost me with what you were saying there. That went straight over my head. But anyway, but yeah, really good. Excellent. So is it reasonable to run insurance wise and bits and bobs? I know I've said that it only cost me a couple of quid to insure for the day.
The insurance isn't too bad. It's just over 150-ish for fully com.
It's pretty good going.
Which is great.
Yeah. The value of the car now, you told me because I had to get it insured, but value of the car is around about £20,000, would you say, something like that?
It's not far off it. Yeah. Which is good.
Yeah. How are the used prices on them? Are they stable? They getting better, or what are they like?
It depends for the Corsairs, because there isn't many that are up for sale that are actually in standard trim.
I see. Are they generally modified and sort of like bigger wheels, bigger engines in them? Have people done that to them because they're linked to the Thunderbird, as you said?
Yes, I mean quite often they'll put a modern Z-Tech engine in them and everything.
I see.
That isn't for me. I like the original one, because there's enough people who've done all that sort of thing, and then the engine's disintegrated or the car's ended up being wrecked or something.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you know, it's quite close to how it came out of the factory, and it's nice. Exactly. It still runs lovely as well. I know you've obviously had a lot to do with that. You've had loads to do with that, but it still runs really nicely.
Yes.
We'll have a little look here. I'm just going to show some of my viewers what a choke is. Now, this is the choke. I'm not going to pull it, but in old cars, they're not fuel injected, obviously, and you have to increase the fuel mix into the engine when you start them up. Isn't that correct, Pete?
Yes, you do.
Excellent. And I just about remember them. I'm just about old enough. But when the engine has warmed up, you then push the choke back in. Have you had any problems maintaining that, or is it quite an easy mechanical thing to do, Pete?
Well, it's a fairly easy thing to do. I mean, on this one, I completely stripped and rebuilt the carburetor, and changed and refurbished all the internals. Yeah. And it basically looks like a brand new car. But luckily, I was able to get 2 or 3 other carbs at the same time and make several good ones. So I've saved myself quite a bit by doing that. Yeah,
I've just had a little nosy around Pete's garage as well, and the space that he's worked on this car over the years, he's probably how much space? There's only about 18 inches at max either side of it in your garage as well, isn't there?
At one end, yeah, there's only about 18 inches. At the other end, there's about 1.5 foot sort of thing. So
right, okay. I think they're the same as well, 18 inches and 1.5 foot, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
But really, yeah, unbelievable. You've got a other end of your workshops full of spare parts. We had a little look through them. Absolutely brilliant. For someone to keep something like this going, I think it's absolutely fab. We also had a discussion before we came out on, people think that buying a new electric car is the way forward. In fact, I'm going to video you using this park and brake or handbrake, and we'll have a little gab about that in a minute.
Sure.
But yeah, people think buying a new electric car is the eco way of doing things. It's not. It's maintaining old vehicles. So yeah, this is the handbrake, everyone, down on this side.
Cable operated.
Okay. You might have to give me a little bit of a lesson on how that works, but yeah, it's quite unusual to have the handbrake down in there, but it works in the same way. Your exhaust sounds good, mate.
Thank you.
It does sound good. That's lovely. It's great to hear that naturally aspirated sound of an older engine. It's fab. Yeah. Does the handbrake, as most handbrakes, work on the rear wheels? Does it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, effectively, people shouldn't be scared of driving an older vehicle like this. There's not that much difference. Pete's already mentioned that you drive according to the conditions. Yeah, I could be going quicker down here in my GTI. I don't honestly think it would do, though.
No, the road isn't that good even for a modern car.
No. So whereabouts are we? We're quite well just on the outskirts of Birmingham. Whereabouts are we at the moment, Pete?
We're north of Sutton Coldfield.
Yeah.
Just going around that area.
Yeah. How do people? We saw the fella in the van just before.
Yeah.
Thumbs up about the car. Do you get that lovely positive reaction when you go out in it as well?
Yes. The smiles per mile is quite good on this, and it's as if there's like a a halo around the car, because people don't get that close to it when I'm driving.
Yeah.
Other drivers keep the distance, whether that's anticipation of, because it's an old car it's not going to stop, or whatever, or they just want to have a nose. I don't know.
That's right.
But it's fine. I mean, it's nice to drive.
Yeah.
And
It's got character, mate.
Exactly.
It's got character, and that's what I think modern cars are missing. They're missing a little bit of character. It does take me back to earlier things that I've driven, but nothing on this level, mate. Fabulous. We've got gone. You were saying we're going to swap round. Is it my turn?
It will be, yes.
Brilliant.
We'll just pull over here.
Wowzers. Wowzers. So yeah, I'll have a little look at all the interior switches and everything. Gee whiz, it's not like the touch screens to work. Look how simple that is. Wow, amazing, amazing. Right, we will get turned round, we'll get swapped round, and then it's my turn. We'll see you in a minute.
The Lister badge. Right, first of all, the Jowett Car Club badge was a badge that my father had on all of his cars that he owned.
Okay.
And after my father passed, I thought, right, I'm keeping that.
That's nice.
So
there's sentimental. Yeah, that's a little reminder for your dad. Lovely. Yeah. And the Lister one.
And the Lister badge is one of the first places I worked at in 1987. When I was doing what most of your viewers won't even think about.
Yeah.
Is called YTS.
I was a YTS footballer, so yeah. Absolutely.
Was the dealers was a company called BLE Automotive, and they did Lister Jaguar conversions on XJS's and other Jags.
So you were there at Lister, were you?
And I was working at BLE Automotive on the Kingsby Road in Birmingham.
Yeah.
And I was there as YTS, and I was helping them work on the Jags and also TVRs and all of that stuff at the time.
Now we're talking.
And
the
when
TVRs,
they did the conversions, that badge just happened to get lost in my toolbox. And then
nicked, off we go.
And then I've always fitted it to my classic cars.
Brilliant. That's a lovely story as well, mate. That's fabulous.
It's just my bit. Thought, right, I'm having that, and that's going.
Absolutely. Right, so as you can see, we've swapped seats. Not gonna lie, I'm a little bit nervous. Never driven anything this old. That mirror's perfectly fine. It does give you a good view.
It does.
My big fat head's in the way of that shoulder though, so it's going to be sort of like
you have to look.
You have to look. Okay. So what do we need to do with the key? Did you say take the key out?
Take the key out. No. Have it vertical. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Now, that blob that you took, on there.
Yeah.
Just above the two gauges. That's it. That's it.
Now,
put it in.
Twist it clockwise.
Yeah.
One more.
Yeah. There you go. That's it.
Wow, is that it?
That's it.
It didn't even take any gas to start. You got this baby running, haven't you?
It's not as good as I'd like it to be, but with the engine as it is, I mean, it's only done about 2,000 miles since rebuilding, so
should be all right.
Yeah.
Could we just have a quick go through the park and brake? I'm going to sit with my foot on the foot brake.
Yeah.
How do you take it off? Do you
pull,
sort of like
pull and turn
twist?
To the left?
Oh, that's easy.
And then you pull it
on the ratchet.
No.
So you pull it.
No.
Come on,
in.
Sorry.
Now pull it. There you go. It's on the ratchet.
Is that it?
And that's it.
Off. Let it turn back.
Ratchet.
Oh. Good. I'm all right with that. First to fourth.
The pattern's on the gear stick, so
it's exactly the same. Neutral and third straight up, fourth straight down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reverses to the right and down, but I doubt if you'll need that.
So there's not loads of spring in the gearbox, is there? So I've got to make sure it's here to go into third.
Yeah.
And that's first.
Well, it'll flow in as you're driving it.
That's okay. I'm just
Because it actually feels different when you're sitting changing the gears,
Yeah.
compared to when you're actually putting stuff through the gearbox.
Of course, yeah, no problems with that. That's all okay. I'm just going to make sure our camera here is switched on before we go. Yeah, it's recording. We're all okay. Sound. Sorry, everyone. I just had to check that. I'm not messing up this one. I'm going to make sure our footage is all good. You know what, mate? I think I'm okay. Got the indicators this side. I'm going to just put this window down slightly.
If you want to.
And I'm good to go, mate.
Right, fine. I'll direct you.
Wow.
Handbrake.
Let's just get a feel for her.
We can go around the car park a couple of times if needed.
I'm alright, mate. I'm okay. I'm going to take it easy until...
Yeah, it'll take a while to actually get used to the steering.
At the end?
Left
turn,
and then it's up a slight hill, so
that's okay. I'm just going to give myself, oh look at me going for my indicator.
Yeah.
Let's get a feel for the brakes. Okay, so they are totally different than the old Golf.
Yeah, that's it.
First gear change.
Yeah.
Not so bad.
No.
Take it over the speed bumps. I tell you what, on the way here, mate, I did a terrible gear change on camera.
Oh dear.
Grinded it and everything, mate. So anyway, God, I keep going for that. That's interesting.
Yes,
Interesting drive without mirrors.
Yes.
These side mirrors. That's good though, mate.
I mean, having done both in the past several times, I'm used to it.
Yeah,
and having ridden a motorbike as well,
yeah.
I know don't rely on your mirrors.
No, that's right. You got to look properly. Was that okay for her over?
Yeah, it's fine. A little bit faster over it.
Yeah,
probably
would
do.
Be okay.
Yeah, because we aren't going to fly over them. But
would it be worth going up to third?
No.
No. I'm going to say
because of things like this, because the road's narrow and
yeah,
the drivers.
The engine obviously isn't going to be as flexible as maybe a modern engine, so that's something that if anyone drives an older car, especially up a hill like this as well, and you've got 15.5 stones worth of me. I'm pretty good at judging, don't worry, mate.
I know you are.
I'm gonna look after her.
It's not you I'm worried about, it's the other people, which is the same with anything.
I can cope with them, mate, to be fair.
I know. Leave it in third to go over this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that alright?
Because we're going downhill, so...
It should be alright.
Yeah. There you go.
Excellent. The throttle pedal, I know there's not loads of power.
No.
But it's responsive.
Yeah.
I'm just going to slow and gear down for this one, mate.
It's only out the book on a brand new engine from Ford, it's 98 brake. So it's not that much compared to modern ones, but it's enough.
98 brake as well.
98 brake.
That's actually good going for the year of the car.
Yeah.
The first, gee whiz, I had a 1990 2-litre Cavalier, and that was only 115 brake.
Yeah.
That shows you really where we've come to.
Yeah, they never got up much in power, but the torque of modern engines and the actual force that drives the car along is a lot more efficient.
But I am wary. I'm wary of the slowing down ability. I'm wary of the steering as well. The steering obviously isn't as direct as cars.
No, but there is a lot of feel coming back from it.
Yeah, the road and where you are. Yeah,
yes,
absolutely,
exactly,
absolutely. If there's a chance, I'm just going to put a left signal on and let this guy past, I think.
Whenever you're in charge of the car, you
don't know whether there's any
there's a junction just up here anyway.
I'm just going to slow a little bit and just let him come past.
Yeah.
Just don't want to go in that little pothole there. Yeah, it's like me learning. Don't want to get in people's way, mate. But honestly, there's nothing to be scared of old vehicles to drive them, is there? We're just following the road, are we? Left or
see where we are. Over to the left, and then straight on.
Straight on. Okay, straight on. We've got a tractor to deal with up there as well. So,
yeah, this is.
Are we going straight on at this as well? Are we? Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. This is a bit of a rat run that we've just crossed over, but
it's okay. I'm just going to.
We've done that nicely.
Be okay just to go in there a little bit.
It gives him the most room, and as you've said, makes a non-event of it.
Yeah. Oh, it's lovely mechanical feel.
Yeah, it is, exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Lovely mechanical feel to it. And even there, maybe a change to third a little early. She was more than happy to get going, wasn't she?
Exactly. Yeah. You are actually driving the car. There's no computer doing anything for you. You are driving the car.
Fabulous. I don't think I've smiled so much driving a car in years.
Good.
I honestly don't.
Good.
I honestly don't.
Brilliant. Everything's working right then. Great.
Maybe I should have held back and let maybe I should have held back and let the lorry just go past.
It goes back to a more normal road just up here anyway, so yeah.
That's okay.
The truck driver's probably enjoying looking at the car anyway, so. Yeah.
Fabulous. Just going to park in a second and just let him go past. What's my judgment like to the left-hand curb? I'm pretty good.
Fine, you're about 2 inches.
Am I?
Yeah.
This is a little thing I've just noticed, because I did it before. We did a left turn before I let the other vehicle, the Volkswagen Estate, pass me. I had my left signal on. They don't self-cancel, do they?
They do.
They do, but it just
you have
takes
to turn the wheel more.
steering
Yeah,
input.
that's right.
So that's an interesting part to it, that you've got to be conscious of taking them off. Quite motorbike.
I mean, it's second nature to me, but it's my car, so it would be. Watch it.
Yeah, I'm onto them, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah, but he's whether she's onto you.
That's all right. I'm stopping. Yeah, I'm easy stopping for her.
I know.
Worry, mate.
I know.
It's not a problem. So I'm treating her. Is it her, by the way? Is it her?
It is a her.
It's a her. Have you got a name for her?
Clarice.
Clarice.
And it's nothing to do with Silence of the Lambs either.
That was my first thought. Yeah, am I treating Clarice okay?
Yeah, fine.
Ah, good. Good effort, mate. Fabulous. Fabulous. We've definitely picked the right day for it as well, mate. I was worried for a little while that we were going to...
weather-wise, yeah.
Yeah, we were, because you can't trust the weather in the UK, but we've been lucky over the past couple of weeks. It's been pretty consistent, hasn't it?
It has.
So just noticed the rev counter isn't working. That's no criticism at all, mate. Has there been any issues with it, or is that one of the extra jobs that you've got to do?
It's one of the extra jobs I've got to do, but the car came with electronic ignition.
Yeah.
And somebody had previously tried to get the rev counter to work and burnt out the front loom.
Right,
so I sorted out the front loom and thought, right, everything's in place. I can sort that out later.
Yeah.
And I've gone back to points ignition compared to electronic, and which got rid of a misfire that I had, and I could not find why I had it. So points ignition solves the misfire, so it's fine. To the left, yes.
Just on indicators, can we just have a little talk about the supplementary side indicators that you've added? That obviously wasn't part of the vehicle.
No, those weren't.
Is that? I'm going to wait, Nathan.
Yeah, that's fine. You wait.
I ain't rushing.
No point in rushing. Yeah, the repeaters were basically, I didn't want them halfway over the wheel arch like a lot of them are on the classic cars, because it looked terrible. But also I wanted side repeaters because, yeah, it's got front indicators, but they're not that obvious from the side of the car.
Yeah.
So I found some LED side repeaters that were for a Land Rover.
Yeah.
And I got a pair of those, and then made some mountings, had them laser cut and then powder coated, and I fit them where they're shown, and they repeat, but they're at the front where everyone's looking at the car, so you can see them.
Yeah. Where are we going at the roundabout?
Left.
Left turn at the
It's
roundabout.
a hard left.
That's okay. Is he crossing?
He's crossing. There you go, smiles per mile wins again.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Watch for them coming around the island and from the right.
I'm alright, mate.
Because they try and push in and sneak in.
Excellent. I know I saw the car with a different set of wheels on.
Yeah.
You just should tell people about the white trim around the wheels, because that's not how they came.
No.
Can you just explain to people how that's come to be? It's a good shout. Pete's already told me, but I'll let you explain, mate.
The steel rims that are fitted at the moment, as time of recording, are the standard set of Corsair wheels. I had them painted body colour when the car was painted, and just for a bit of added protection, I wanted to cover the lip that was on the rim that was closest to the curb, just in case something happens or whatever. Yeah. I just didn't want to catch them on a curb or anything like that. Yep. So one of the thoughts was, I'll see if I can put a bit of trim to it.
Yeah.
With them not being alloy wheels, to fit the trim makes it a little bit harder, so I thought, what can I use? So I came up, I've managed to find some door edging trim.
Yeah.
And I managed to find some in white, and the edging trim has a tiny little bead of glue on the top edge as well on the inside.
Yeah.
And those fitted on the rim, and they were white with the body colour for the rims and the black of the tyre. It just makes the wheels pop with the chrome hubcaps.
If you hadn't have shown that, pointed that out to me, I wouldn't have known that they shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
So it's a great little little way. And
the nicest thing about it was, to get 5 metres of it, enough to do all 4 rims, cost me £11.50 with the postage, so I was quite happy.
That's brilliant.
And it makes such a difference.
Yeah, it does.
It's a visual and practical difference.
Yeah, the rims that you had on it when I came to see it, came to see you at the show, they were different, didn't you say? The bigger rims, and they're a little bit lower profile, so
yes,
obviously with the state of the roads, would these be your go-to set?
These are, yeah.
The others are the show set, if you like?
It's sort of.
Yeah.
The other rims are 16-inch Peugeot van rims, which are the same wheel mounting.
That's unbelievable, that.
Yeah.
We're just carrying on.
Yeah, carry on. But they fitted, they were fine. I wanted those mainly so I could run modern tyres.
Yes.
For if I was going somewhere distance and I had to go on a motorway or something, I know I got modern tyres on, so I had the grip and everything else.
Is it better in third at 30?
No, it's fine in fourth at 30.
Is it?
Yeah. It hardly uses anything. You just use the momentum to keep it.
Keep you going, yeah.
It's only if you have to stop or slow down for someone else, you put it in third.
Yeah. So yeah, sort of like classic tyres, the tyres that would run at the moment. I noticed.
Yeah, they're
Avons on it.
They're Avons ZT5s.
Are they quite expensive? Are they as well?
No, they aren't any more expensive. The problem is finding them because they're 13-inch.
Yeah. And usually I would think 13-inch are the things that would be on maybe a Caterham, the mini light wheels and stuff like that.
Well, yes, they're close to it, but I think those are running 14s. Right. But the main thing I had to do with the wheels, turn right at the lights.
Yeah, right.
The main thing I had to do with the wheels was make sure the rolling diameter was the same.
Yeah. I've done that before when I've changed tyres. People or change wheels. People don't think of that you've got to change the size of the tyre and the height of the tyre.
The profile.
The profile of the tyre, right? To make sure the rolling radius is the same. Absolutely.
Yeah. The smaller the rolling radius, the slower your car's going, but
speedo still stays the same.
The speedo still stays the same, but you're physically going slower.
Yes.
But also you can over rev an engine.
Doing that,
because the engine is working harder and you're not going any faster.
Yes.
Because you're covering less distance on the circumference of the wheel.
I didn't think of that, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's right. Would there be a...
And it works the opposite way if you go larger than the the correct rolling diameter.
Yeah.
So the 16-inch rim straight on. The 16-inch rims with a low profile tyre give me the same rolling diameter as the 13s with a deeper profile.
Yeah, that's right.
Personally, I prefer the 13s with the deeper profile because it just makes the ride so much more even and softer.
What sort of pressures do they run at? I'm suspecting the 13s will be a lower, fair bit lower pressure.
The 13s are 28 all round.
Oh, it's higher than I expected as well, to be honest.
The 16s are about 32 all round.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
If I did try lowering the pressure in the 16s, but because of the profile of the tyre, it felt terrible.
Yeah, you always risk damaging rims as well, to be honest.
It felt boggy.
Yes.
So I upped it and it rolls easier.
Yeah, that's right.
Left at the traffic lights that are coming up.
We're okay to block change like I'm doing as well? No issues whatsoever?
Yeah, of course. We're on the way back.
I'm not stopping there.
No, well they were on yellow, so we'd already committed. So
that's right. Couldn't stop there.
No. You'll recognise where we are in a little while anyway.
Yeah. Was this close to the road I would have come in on from the toll road?
It is the opposite end.
I see.
You can go a bit faster if you want.
Is that alright?
Yeah, of course. It's got quite a bit of pep. I mean, I can get 40 to the gallon on a run and it'll do...
That's good going.
It'll do 65 to 70 quite easily.
Seriously, will it?
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing for the age of the car as well.
Yeah, but it is a V4, so it's got a nice power balance.
Yeah. Lovely. I honestly don't think I've smiled this much.
Good.
Driving a car in years, mate, to be honest. Even, honestly, honestly, even driving my car, it doesn't make me smile.
Yeah.
It's powerful, it handles, it's got all the bits to it, but driving is an emotive thing. I've said that many times before.
It is, definitely.
There's a bit more than just using it, you know, to get you to A to B for me, and I think by the sounds of it for you as well, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Right, if we go round the island,
yeah.
Yeah. Now it's a multi-level swappy island.
I'm all right, mate.
I usually stay in the centre because we don't want, because of things like those trucks over there.
Right, okay. So
and then,
I'm all right here.
Yeah, fine.
I'm gonna be able to keep moving. Yeah, just the tractor driver led me to that one.
That's all right. And stay in the middle lane.
Yeah. So behind the tractor.
But of course, indicate right.
Yeah. So this takes us all the way back round again, does it?
It will do, yes. Yeah. But there's one part of the one junction adjoining the island,
yeah,
which is not traffic light controlled.
Right.
And that's the one we have to look out for.
Yeah. I'm still okay where we are.
This one.
Middle one?
Yeah, middle. That's it. A38.
Yeah. Oops. This side. Keep on going for that indicator the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recognise it.
And then
we stay where we are then, don't we?
Yeah, basically. And then indicate left after we've gone past this junction.
So we're going over here as well, aren't we?
Yeah, that's it.
Should have been in that right side, I think.
That's it.
All right. That's cool. Yeah, recognise this. So are we just going to do a left turn and then
can do.
park in somewhere?
We can do.
Fabulous.
Or we can just park on the slip right at the very bottom.
I'll just go in, just tuck around the corner, we'll just park in here somewhere, mate.
Whatever.
Excellent.
That's fine.
That's been amazing, that. That's been really good.
You're in second.
Will it be alright?
Just.
Maybe not.
That's better.
Yeah, that's okay. So I'll just
yeah,
just leave us in here. Fabulous. Okay, that parking brake, neutral. Literally just give her a twist and turn it off.
That's it, done.
Honestly, mate, that has been absolutely fab. Made up. How do you think I treated her? Was she all right with me driving?
It's fine.
Yeah,
fine.
No issues.
No.
And I think the big thing is that, yeah, with an older car, I think one thing that I've realised. I think it probably, to run an older car economically, you need to have a little bit of mechanical knowledge yourself, else you could then start racking up some big bills. I just don't want to encourage everyone to go off and get a car.
Oh no.
And then obviously, you know, rack up some big bills.
Yeah.
Nothing to be scared of driving them. A car's a car at the end of the day. It's still got 3 pedals, a gear lever, steering wheel, a mirror.
Yeah.
You do have to drive everything according to the vehicle, so situational. You do that with any faster vehicles as well. Many times I've said to people, look, a car is only as fast as you press the pedal.
That's right.
And you've just got to drive everything accordingly.
Yes.
Anything that I found difficult? No, not really. It was just really enjoyable.
Good.
I'd like to say massive thanks to yourself, Pete.
You're welcome.
It was the viewers and the subscribers that effectively chose your car. So
that's fine.
That's the effect. We've seen a fella at the crossing.
Yeah,
not so long
that's
ago.
right. Yeah.
A big smile, puts a big smile on people's faces. So if there's anything else that you've got out there that's not necessarily similar, but if you've got an interesting car and you've got a little story about it, please get in touch, because I'll come and see you. Cheers, Pete. Be good, and
you're welcome.
I'll see you all soon. Take care.